It's a Southern Hemisphere showdown between a hobbled Honeybadger and a Kiwi on the rise, but recent updates have put one of these prospects for the mercurial tauri second seat in 2024 firmly on the front foot. However, both drivers have done substantial damage to their chances, either through their antics off the track or a recovery holding one of them back, and with the most recent news of his recent injury coming to light, it seems like the Honeybadger's season may well be over before it could even get started. Want to know who is in the front spot for the ever-changing second seat? Stick around to find out, and buckle up because both drivers have made it a rather bumpy ride. Daniel Ricciardo just can't catch a break, can he? The moment he appears to be shown the talent that the paddock believes is still within the 34-year-old Aussie, Tsunoda blows him away with a 1-2 punch at Belgium and the Netherlands, both finishing in front of his teammate in the former by a sizable margin, and actually starting the latter race, which Daniel failed to do after dubious marshalling and poor communications of his compatriot's instant at turn 3 of the Zandvoort circuit. What must make this instant all the more frustrating for Ricciardo is the Piastri, a test driver of Alpine last year, forcibly took Ricciardo's seat at McLaren in controversial circumstances following an embarrassing dispute with Alpine, with both Aussies leaving the French team out in the cold. The broken wrist that Daniel received really could not have come at a worse time, with him fighting hard to prove himself worthy of realizing his dream, to retire where it all began for him back at Red Bull. Having been left without a seat thanks to McLaren giving him the boot, Daniel found no team to turn to due to alienating half the grid with his remarks and not wanting to join a lesser team just to race at the back, with the front half of the grid already securing far more talented and consistent driver lineups than the Honeybadger had been in recent seasons. His forcible sidelining didn't last long, however, as fellow outcast Nick de Vries was given a helmet Marco-shaped boot from the Red Bull sister team after just 10 races. Well, it seems the racist tirades aren't his only hobby. Way to keep yourself entertained, helmet. With de Vries in the mud, Lawson not deemed appropriate due to him being tied up with the Super Formula duties, gaining some precious experience over in Japan, and the rest of Red Bull's future hopefuls battling it out in the junior categories, Red Bull were left with few options. Either outsource yet again, reinforcing doubts in Red Bull's driver ecosystem after countless failings and rejected drivers in recent years, or opt for the old reliable Daniel Ricciardo, who had proved himself not entirely lost following his McLaren stint, with good displays in the sim as well as the all-deciding Pirelli tyre tests. Having opted for the old dog, he demonstrated some new tricks that we feared he may not have been able to pick up, with a solid display in Hungary, finishing ahead of the diminutive rage ball Yuki Tsunoda. Following up on this result, however, with a second solid performance seemed to be a stretch too far, leaving people who witnessed his drab and uninspired performance at Spa questioning whether Red Bull's loan to the sister team had indeed been the right decision. We all know what followed at a disastrous Dutch Grand Prix, and so opened the door to a driver who had been deemed either not worthy of the seat in the first place, or perhaps just not in the right place at the right time to take up the opportunity, snatched away by his neighbouring countrymen, and according to recent updates by Helmut Marko to Service TV, the door could be opened wider than expected. Unfortunately, it's a fairly complicated fracture. The assumption is 6 weeks, and we don't want to take any risks with that. Luckily, we have found a great replacement in Liam Lawson. I expect Ricciardo to be able to race again in Qatar at the earliest. Singapore and Suzuka are especially two races that are most difficult on the hands. With this longer than expected wait for his return, it really doesn't look good for the Honeybadger. We wish him all the best in his physical recovery, but with the recent performances of his short-term replacement, his long-term future in the sport is now in more jeopardy than ever. Liam Lawson is a driver many of us who pay attention to the junior formulas have been excited about for the past few years. His rise to a fortunate debut in F1 has seen podiums and poles in every category he's taken on, from F2 and F3 to DTM and Super Formula. The Kiwi has shown some outrageous talent behind the wheel. His calm demeanor off the track with a ferocious driving style on track has made him a cult favorite for racing fans, with people finally being able to see the potential of the 21-year-old in the full light of day at long last in the past 2 rounds of the Formula 1 Championship, with a free hit at Zandvoort and a strong showing that matched the best result of any other second driver in an AlphaTauri this year, with 12th at Monza. While according to some he didn't blow anyone out of the water, he did all of the basics incredibly well, showing a solid foundation on which Red Bull may see the potential to build a future main team superstar. Speaking of the Kiwi, Marco said, "Lawson has been with us for some time, and he is a true New Zealander, just like Denny Hulme and Bruce McLaren. He takes a tough but smart stance in battles. He really is a man for the future. He could have won points at Monza if his strategy had been good at AlphaTauri. We unfortunately have to note that. He certainly had the speed, and he is really someone for the future," the 80-year-old concluded. Well, those are some rather powerful comparisons to legendary drivers by Marco, ones which may yet prove to be rather inflated. However, we fully understand his excitement. Lawson has truly made himself a contender for a full-time seat next year. However, it may be that Red Bull let another top-tier talent slip through their fingers a la Alex Albon, as many other teams are already sniffing around the talented New Zealander. Alex Albon may prove to be an incredibly appropriate comparison, as Williams seem to be incredibly interested. Following the successful expansion into America for F1, making merely being an American no longer a viable way of keeping your F1 seat. Logan Sargeant, who we believe still holds enough talent to be an F1 driver for some years to come, may be passed up for a driver too good to turn away in Liam Lawson, who may well lose faith if Red Bull pass up the opportunity to give him a full-time drive in 2024. With Christian Horner's recent comments, however, Williams may find themselves without the option to do so, as according to Horner, the magnifying glass is firmly on Liam Lawson, and the eyes of the bull may see Lawson in red and blue sooner rather than later, with Horner saying, "It's a great opportunity for him." Horner told media, including Racing News 365, of Lawson's chance. "I mean, for any driver to get themselves in a Grand Prix car, you've got to make the most of it. This is a golden moment in his career for him to demonstrate what he's capable of. We're obviously following his progress very closely. Daniel's misfortune was Liam's good fortune, so it's down to him to make the best use of it." Talks of Daniel's misfortune does not bode well for the Aussie, who must be having a hard time seeing all the hype surrounding Lawson based off of him outperforming Ricciardo in his own car across the same sample amount of races. While it is a small sample size, Red Bull aren't exactly known for not making rash decisions with their drivers based off of a small time frame of good performance, with De Vries securing a spot based off of one positive performance alone at a track that flattered the car he was in a race where all the stars aligned. This track record of hasty decisions does leave us wondering, could this short run of fortune for Lawson save one career while swiftly ending another? It'd be a cruel fate for Ricciardo being usurped by a younger man for the third time in his career, following suit with the current king Verstappen and a jack of all trades in Piastri. However, it's yet to be seen whether Lawson will prove to be a Red Bull Academy ace or yet another joker just to be dropped by the cruel Red Bull driver program. Something that certainly won't help his long-term aspirations within Red Bull is getting on the wrong side of the aforementioned Verstappen with silly off-the-cuff comments, such as the one that Lawson let slip last week, which the Verstappen clan that have a chokehold on the Red Bull garage will certainly not take kindly to. While shooting a promotional video with F1 legend and former Red Bull driver David Coulthard at the Nürburgring, Lawson let slip a statement of treason against the current Red Bull kingpin, saying the first name that comes to mind when he thinks of an F1 driver is the bitter arch rival of Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton. When told he should have said Max Verstappen, Lawson accepted his mistake and replied, "I should have said Max Verstappen. I realized after I said that, I should have said Max Verstappen." Yikes. While a short-sighted blunder that will surely be forgotten by the majority of the F1 world, the short-term embarrassment of fans saying bro forgot what academy he's in will be dwarfed by the potential long-term memory of the Verstappen camp. As long as this stays a singular incident, we're sure that this will be forgotten and laughed at as time goes on. However, we have seen how Max's goons deal with subordination if repeated and long-term, with the original fate of Ricciardo being ousted from the family after daring to turn his chin up competitively in the direction of Verstappen, leading him to what could be his final demise at the hands of what could be yet another ill-fated driver destined to become Stappen fodder. We'd love to know what you think about this whole situation concerning the two fighting it out for a seat at AlphaTauri and Red Bull, so feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, and tap that notification bell to keep up to date with this story as it continues to evolve. Until next time, thank you for watching.